This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. I'm Alex Brown. Indiana's public colleges and universities are already feeling the pain of a 5% cut from the state budget passed this year, as well as guidance that urges colleges to not raise tuition. The result? Layoffs and a variety of cost-saving measures from public colleges, which observers say could start a downward spiral for Indiana's economic output and quality of life. Tom Harnish is Vice President of Government Relations at the State Higher Education Executive Officers Association.
Public institutions of higher education are economic drivers for states, and they help produce a quality workforce. They do research. Often that is applied to the local economy. So it really affects certainly the economy, but also the quality of life.
If Indiana can steady its financial course in the next few years and the cuts are temporary, Harnish doesn't foresee a long-term impact. The U.S. Department of Energy last week canceled grants for 24 projects, including a $500 million award for a carbon capture and sequestration project at the Heidelberg Materials cement plant in Mitchell. Energy Secretary Chris Wright said the now canceled projects failed to advance the energy needs of the American people, were not economically viable, and would not generate a positive return on investment of taxpayer dollars. A Heidelberg spokesperson told WFIU in Bloomington that the company may appeal the decision. A New York-based company with a biomanufacturing plant under construction in Richmond has changed its name. Liberation Labs is now Liberation Bioindustries, and said the new name and brand will better reflect the company as a commercial-scale contract biomanufacturer. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
To succeed, you need to stay informed. You need to be engaged. And let's face it, you need to set yourself apart from the rest by connecting with a company that brings you the best. Because in today's environment, business is an ever-moving target, and we'll help you chase it. IBJ Media. The best of business is in us. Get started at ibjmedia.com/youngprofessional.
United Companies Air Center is celebrating the grand opening of its new general aviation terminal with an open house in Evansville today. Formerly known as Tri-State Aero, the company is the fixed base operator at Evansville Regional Airport, providing FBO, avionics, charter, and maintenance services. President Doug Pettit said the facility comes with a world-class design.
You'd have to go far afield to find something that's better. The customers absolutely love it. Those that had been here before and in and out of the prior building, for sure, contextually, think this is great. But if it's your first time through here, people just stand and look in awe, and they're like, wow, how long has this place been here? But anyway, I've heard nothing but wonderful things. Thoughtfully designed, as I said, pilots lounge, and how we treat pilots was very thoughtful. How we treat the customers that are flying in those planes, very thoughtful in terms of the design, but also how we try to treat them as they come through the door too. It's world class, and it's being received that way.
The facility has 100,000 square feet of hangar space and features a pilot lounge, passenger lounge, and conference room. Local sports tourism officials have formally announced the return of the U.S. Olympic swimming trials to Indianapolis, but getting the event back at Lucas Oil Stadium in June 2028 wasn't without its challenges. In particular, officials with Visit Indy and the Capital Improvement Board, which manages the stadium, had to convince a faith-based group to vacate its dates for the second week of June in order to free up space at the Indiana Convention Center and create a massive block of rooms across several downtown hotels. No specific dates have been finalized for the swimming event, but sources last week told the IBJ that the trials are expected to begin sometime in the second week of June and run for 9 days. Indiana officials say the state is declaring freedom from the highly pathogenic avian influenza, or bird flu. IIB's Marek Mazurek has more.
Per the World Organization of Animal Health, an avian flu-free status means a state or region has eliminated the disease on all affected farms and no new infections are detected in a subsequent 28-day period. The declaration should help reduce some export restrictions and international trade barriers for Indiana's poultry and poultry products, according to state officials. Indiana is a national leader in duck production, eggs, and turkeys, and is a significant producer of broilers. State officials say that while the status is a positive step, it's still important for poultry owners to take precautions on their farms. Denise Dare Spears with the Indiana State Board of Animal Health notes the designation is not in all clear because the virus is still floating around, especially in the wild bird population. Farmers are being asked to keep wild birds separate from poultry as much as possible. Spears said bird flu incidents often die during the summer and they pick up again in the fall following wild bird migrations across the state. The virus is still active across parts of the U.S., found in wild birds coast to coast, and in livestock like dairy cattle in 18 states, though not in Indiana, according to state officials. Since the start of Indiana's outbreak in 2022, the state has had to kill 8 million birds as a result of infection. I'm Marek Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Journalist and historian Alilia Bundles is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.